I'm leaving Japan tomorrow, and even saying that sounds crazy. It really hasn't hit me yet. But before I go, I want to make a video about my top five memories from Japan. These are memories of me doing stuff in Japan, which I feel I could only have done in Japan either because of the people involved or geographic uniqueness or whatever. I've tried to be specific, not just say, that trip to Tokyo. What aspect of that trip to Tokyo? Whole holidays don't get it here. It has to be something specific. Um, I've also not included anything that has to do with my bucket list because I've already made videos about that. So, my top five memories from Japan. Number five, pretending to be mannequins at HEP 5 building in Osaka. We were on a Christmas shopping trip. My friend Carly and I were very bored, and we decided to go into a photo booth where, so there was a freestanding scene, and you were meant to take a picture in there. We stood in it and we struck poses. And we held the poses for as long as we could. We probably weren't as still as I remember in my head. In my head, we were like stock still, like, and everyone was like, "Are those real mannequins?" But probably actually, we just looked like two dumb gaijin just holding weird poses like this. Um, a crowd did gather. No one was really sure what was happening. I don't know if that's just because we were Gaikokujin or because we were weird people standing still looking like mannequins. But yes, a crowd did gather, and then eventually I broke out laughing, and a woman in the front yelped. So I don't know what she thought. Maybe she thought we really were mannequins. Um, what I loved about this was it was so spontaneous. I just remember us looking at each other like cartoon, like silent movie style, just nodding, like, and just going in. I'm sure we did actually discuss it, but in my head, it was just like we both had the exact same thought at the exact same time and pulled it off beautifully. So yeah, that is my number five memory, pretending to be a mannequin with Carly. Number four is the Izum, Izumo Taisha Grand Shrine and Yagaki Shrine in Shimane. These are very famous shrines in Japan, especially Izumo Taisha Grand Shrine. Izumo Taisha Grand Shrine is where the gods go to relax every November, I think. But it's also apparently the best shrine to go to if you want a quote unquote good meeting, i.e., if you want to meet someone romantically. You can go, it's a very large structure. There are shrines all around this temple, this shrine. There are little mini shrines where you can go, you can give money, and you can pray, ring bells, bang a drum. I don't think you can bang any drums, but you make your wish. I say you make a wish, you make a prayer, but it feels a lot like a wish. Um, and there's also you can buy a little wooden block, write your desired partner, and then tie it to a tree and leave it for the gods to read and send to you. I have to say, I do know for a fact that one of the wishes made that day did come true. So maybe there's something to it. But we did also go to Yagaki Shrine, and Yagaki Shrine has a magic pond where you float a piece of paper with a 10 yen coin in the center, and then you float it on the pond. And as the quicker the paper sinks, the quicker you will find your true love. And mine went down like the Titanic. Mine was, and I don't mean the movie, I mean the actual boat. It didn't take 3 hours. It was like down. And I was looking around like, dude's got to be right in front of me. He wasn't. I still haven't met him. So Yagaki Shrine might be more of a scam, but still, it was a lot of fun, and it really to me kind of highlights the lovely spirituality of Japan, the very interesting approach to religion, and it's just a fun day out. It was really nice to do. It was really nice to get involved in that culture, and I won the pond race. I won the pond loving, meeting my destiny race. I have to admit, maybe don't take your more sensitive friends, your friends who are more insecure, because one of the people I went with got very annoyed that my paper sank immediately and his stayed afloat for several minutes, and he accused me of cheating. So, um, Yeah, maybe don't bring people who are yeah, very uncertain about themselves. So number three, the Sendai Illuminations. I went to Sendai with a group of friends. We went near Christmas, and one of the things we had gone for was the Starlight Festival, I think it's called, the Sendai Illuminations. Illuminations are very common in Japan, especially around winter. It's just lots of lights in a public space, normally in a forest or a botanical garden. This one was actually just down a street in Sendai, but there were a lot of trees on the street. It was gorgeous. I I was having a religious experience. I was just so captivated with those lights. It was like heaven, just walking through this dark, snowy night. It was very snowy, lots of snow. With these lights strung up in these trees. It was just magical. It was lovely, and yeah, I, if lights and trees don't aren't your thing, you will get nothing out of it. But they are very much my thing. I love illuminations. I really wish they were more common where I'm from, but the the lights in the trees and the snow and just being there with my friends, it was magical. I was so happy. That I want the walk to heaven to be like that when I die, and if I'm good enough to get into a nice afterlife, I want the walk there to be just a long alley lined with trees with little fairy lights in them. It was beautiful. Number two also took place on that same trip to Sendai, which was the Fox Village. The Fox Village in Sendai is up a mountain, up a very windy path. I was extremely car sick on the way there, but it was worth it. The Fox Village is a very large enclosure, which it might sound a bit unethical when you hear it, but it's executed in such a way I don't think it is. The foxes, it's natural fox territory anyway, and this enclosure is very large, and it allows you to interact with foxes even during the daytime. They are awake during the daytime. They're not awoken. They are awake naturally, and you can go in. You can't touch them. You can't touch them, but you can feed them from afar. And I walked in holding my bag of food in my hand against all the instructions from the place. The foxes immediately turned to look at me, began pacing forward, and it was almost exactly like how Scar dies in The Lion King. Spoilers. And I was terrified, but also very thrilled. Luckily, at that moment, one of my friends came in because I was trying to find the door and I couldn't. The door had shut closed behind me, and I was trying to get the door. My friend opened the door behind me, and I just ran back in. I was very lucky, and I came back out a few minutes later with my food hidden about my person. But it really was just very thrilling to see these animals, these wild animals that I've glimpsed foxes in the UK, but I've never seen that many of them in one place, and I've definitely never had them advance upon me as though I were a piece of meat. I don't know why, but I do class that as a good memory. Sendai Fox Village. It's cool. Finally, number one, seeing the snow sculptures at the Yuki Matsuri in Sapporo. I've been to the Yuki Matsuri twice. If I ever come back to Japan, I will definitely go to the Yuki Matsuri again. It is fantastic. I enjoy every single part of it, but by far the best part is the snow sculptures. For one thing, they're huge. The biggest one I saw in my first year was 9 stories high. It was a model of Kylo Ren from Star Wars, and it was fantastic. Um, they're lit up with crazy lights. So Kylo Ren's lightsaber had a light effect. It was like even though it was made of snow, it would be like and it would light up. It was great, and there are so many of them. You can walk down the street and just see hundreds of snow sculptures, and it's just wonderful. There's the artistry involved. I love snow anyway. Snow sculpted into beautiful shapes. Mwah, perfection. I cannot recommend the Yuki Matsuri highly enough. As I said, I've been twice. I would go again in a heartbeat. It is great. It's one of the reasons that I wanted to come to Japan in the first place. I mentioned it in my interview, and that's how I got. It's part of how I got this job. So I owed a huge debt, and yes, I really. That is my favorite memory of everything. So those were my top 5 memories from Japan, my non-bucket list memories. As you can see, I've had quite a varied time here, and I I'm so glad I've done it. It's coming to an end, but it was really worth the ride. Well, next time I film, I'll probably be somewhere else. Wish me luck.